one at a time, because this is really good. Because this is one of the things that I want that you guys. This is one of the reasons why I want them to come here, is because I've flown to the store, I've gone to the store, and have you, and I got over. I want them to hear this from other dealerships that are mine and not my clients. Again, you should be doing a lot more. It's not you. As the owners, you're doing all you can. You're providing the leads, you're providing the technology, you're providing the people, you're paying them. It's not you that's failing, it's really your team that's failing. So now, Mr. Dell, you had a question?
I would systematically look at it because it sounds very similar to what we had. You had the inmates running the asylum. That's number one. Number two, we had a bunch of third-party, paid-for leads that were very expensive with low closing ratios. So this is an opportunity to subtract before you add. In other words, the old adage, you don't need more customers until you're doing a great job with the ones you got. So you may want to drive productivity by driving down a lot of these lead sources, save some money short term, make them work the leads that are going to get them the highest closing ratio, which will get them the quickest gratification. In other words, it's a negative, but it's a positive reinforcement. If they're working the leads, that'll become your highest closing opportunities. They'll become more easily gratified with what they're doing. But take away the volume of what they're supposed to be working through and get good at it first. In other words, I wouldn't dial up leads in any given store until they cross that 13% closing ratio threshold. When we were there, then it was time to double the leads as quick as we could. But they had to prove they could do a good job with what we gave them before we gave them any more. And then I would just start looking at the people and start doing who's doing the one-on-ones, who's training, who's role-playing, who's listening to phone calls, are they on the program, do you have their monthly support system, which I think is the best $1,700 we spend, and that's a free unpaid promotion. It really is, because I know they're mystery shop.
You heard that paragraph, right?
They have to do a certain amount of training every week.
I think we're paying more than that.
Are you? That's the other adage. If you think education's expensive,
he's on the multi-year contract. I'll give you a discount if you get on the multi-year contract. That's per store, by the way. You know that's a dealer group, right? You're actually paying cheaper.
Just basing your numbers, like Shaw was saying, the biggest deficiency I see is you get 234 leads. Is the appointments are setting is all. So maybe it's a coordinator issue, but they said they're not coaching the veterans that are helping. Well, how were they before they went in there? They 12, 15 car guys. Now they're 6 car guys.
Well, they're yeah. One of them was probably a 17-car guy.
Get him out of there. Because he's doing worse.
Well, I mean, he's already complaining, like he's wanting to go catch up.
Then he's going to get cancer in that room for you. So you take him out of there, you either put a brand new person.
And I think and last month was a horrible month, and it has been better than that. And last month was horrible, you know. But it's still, we've never been getting the kind of numbers that we're supposed to get, and that's the biggest thing that bothers me. The month before was a lot better, and this month has started off a lot better, you know, for whatever reason.
There was competition.
Is their biggest complaint we need more traffic laws?
Yeah, their leads are crappy, everything's crappy, everything that we do is crappy, and it's about the credit. I mean, I'm about sick and tired. Because I know that we've given them the tools and everything that they need, and it's I feel like
to work towards, do you give them a spiff, like an incentive
right.
because we do that, and that's a big push.
Yeah, they like to live off their 300 a week.
You said there's a coordinators and the sales guys. Yes,
they had a great
coordinator of the month, they get extra money in their paycheck. Do a coordinator of the month, makes most appointments.
Tyler, you mentioned there was a competition between the sales force, or between.
Well, it's just because they were veterans and everything, and they're having that. It brings down, I think, the other sales force, because they're like, well, those guys are getting fed, and then it's just the whole. It's crumbling in that way.
You need to change the way that your setup is. The way that we run it is we have all the people come in and ask for me. I'm general manager, and every salesperson that takes that up knows that's an internet lead. I handle all that. All of my internet coordinators instruct everyone to ask for me. You got the wrong people. Don't let them people be your internet people. Don't let them cherry pick and do that, because it can kill your floor, and that's what you're going through.
And kill your sales force.
Absolutely. Right now, when I first started this, the way I did it, all of the salespeople, all of them were very negative with what I was doing. But after they saw that it worked, they're on board. Right now, they're out front shaking hands. They're knocking each other over to get to the up.
Are you asking for Stan?
Yeah,
Stan,
are you asking for
hang
Stan?
on a minute.
That's the way it works. And they bring them in. They do an endorsement TO. I flip them right back to the sales staff. We've already got them on
Plus,
the
you're
card.
not feeding just 2 people, you're feeding the whole
They
floor.
feed them all.
You gotta feed them all. It's a team effort. It's gotta be a team, period.
When they ask for you, what happens then? Do they
They
come?
bring them to me.
Okay.
If
And then
they
stand
walk
there.
off, they don't get the deal. I grab the nearest salesperson.
They'll stand
So
So the
right
guess
person
there.
what?
who greets them brings them to you.
Absolutely.
And then they get them back.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it from our perspective, I don't want people laying back and just taking internet ups.
Right.
I want them out front shaking hands and greeting the customers.
Everybody.